It's today. Let's get painting today. I apologise for my terrible singing. 2274. After much anxiety, I did start my commission yesterday. It is drawn. It just needs painting now. And I like to get confirmation that they like the drawing before I start the painting, so it's going to sit there until they approve it. Hopefully by the time this goes out it'll have been approved. So today we're painting Queen Street in Blackpool. From here you can actually see the sea, and the North Pier, maybe, if we the North Pier is here. At least the theatre, you can see the theatre on the North Pier there. Just off the side here is the cenotaph. But yeah, it's early start today. Hadn't finished uploading all the prints, and I couldn't sleep, so I got up at 3:30 and finished uploading the rest of the work to my website. So that's uploaded now. I'm ready for tonight's launch. It's probably the most ahead I've been for a launch. I am highly disorganised in my own life, despite the fact when I've kind of worked professionally for other people, I'm always the person who's organised, which always feels weird that I'm the organised one. So my family, when I've told them that I was the organised one at work, they looked at me as if I was deranged, because there is literally, my desk works by having stuff everywhere. And my desk at work did too, but everything else was organised. Like I spent 4 years working at one place, and of those 4 years I must have spent a quarter of it just organising the space. So an entire school year just organising. To the point where a lot of times I had projects for the following year already. Because they ran a lot of the same projects year on year, I just prepared them all up. had an excess in budget, I was in charge of the budget, and I would buy new tools, new everything that we needed. And yeah, it just sorry, that's one. And when I left in the middle of COVID, things weren't necessarily tidy, but I kind of already had a replacement who, as far as I'm aware, has left since, because they were training to be an engineer and didn't want to be a technician forever. Whereas, you know, I had quite a few people who, in the role, would treat me as if I was some sort of idiot. Because I would just, unless people needed help or I was doing demonstrations, I would just get on and do my work. And there was a lot of work to do. Effectively, I was doing a full-time job in 20 hours a week, 20 paid hours a week. For a long time, they kind of swizzed me when it came to my hours, though, because you didn't get paid for lunch, and lunch was an hour. And it basically meant kind of, if I stayed for lunch, then I wasn't due to leave until halfway through a lesson. And quite often, the students would beg me to stay longer, so I'd end up being there longer. In the end, just before I got furloughed, my boss tried to insist that it'd been working for me to get in at 9:15 and leave at 2:15. That was my 6 hours. Technically, it was still lunchtime when I left. And, you know, I always said I was taking my lunch. The school actually changed the rules, so you weren't allowed to leave site during your lunch hour, which in the end I just ignored. I know a lot of it's my own fault, but I hated the place so much by that point. Like I said before, we'd had a new head, because the previous head was shockingly bad, but the new head basically just employed a lot of his friends and family to the roles, which chased out a lot of good staff. Or at least a lot of good staff that I enjoyed talking to. And yeah, when it came to the job, I was unhappy with the job from kind of the first week. hung around for far too long. I wouldn't recommend it. If you know when a job's not right, you can still go back to your old job, which I could at the time. It was basically because I wanted to work part-time to have time to be around for the children. I thought working in a school would be the best place, especially as it was an independent school. So, holidays, there are more holidays in a year at independent school than there are at a state school. But, but they expect you to work Saturdays, at least during kind of the main coursework, run up to coursework being handed in, which effectively is just a failing of the teachers there to manage the time correctly and get the students to do the work on time. Every year I tell them that, you need to start by this date, blah, blah, blah. And every year it was January before anyone was, the end of January before anyone was ordering materials. And some of them were leaving it till after February half term, and then you've only got like 5 weeks until everything has to be handed in. So frustrating. Like I say, a lot of it was just due to poor classroom management and the fact they could get away with dragging everybody in on a weekend. So over the 4 years I was there, I must have worked an extra couple of weeks. Especially as when I first started, my boss told me I was expected to come in for inset days as well. When it turns out I wasn't expected to be there for inset days. I didn't find out until I think the 3rd year I was there or something stupid like that. When one of the admin people, the person in charge of the human resources, went, "Why are you here? You're not supposed to work today. You're not getting paid for it. Go home." And I told them that I had been told that I was supposed to work night. So when I tried to stand up to the boss, it's like, "No, you're supposed to work inset days." "No, support staff don't get paid inset days." "Oh, well, maybe we can look at paying you inset days then." And all I ended up doing on most inset days when it wasn't there is they would have me tidying up the department, which, to be fair, in September because I'd prepared all the projects, there wasn't actually any work to do apart from tidy up for the first 2 weeks. Because as I told them, I'm not, it wasn't my job to support classroom learning, only workshop learning. But yeah, I guess the moral of the story is always find out from human resources rather than from someone who'd have you in full time and wouldn't pay you for full time. Every so often I see jobs go there. Like I say, I even saw my old job go again after I'd left. And it's like, no, I'm never going back there. It's one of those that even if I was destitute, I wouldn't go back to. And when you're trapped in that situation, you just end up resenting everyone anyways, which I did. Every penny I earned was hard work. I used to lift about, all the big massive sheets of plywood, and I couldn't do it anymore. It'd kill me. A lot of it came down to the fact we're trying to do everything on the cheap, which was hard work. Especially when my boss was trying to tell me things like, oh well, the reason you get paid more if you're in the state sector is because schools get more per student in the state sector. It's like, no, they don't. You really don't. they get a fraction of what they get at the private school. And I think I worked out that the average that a state school, if it had about, at the time, if it had about 1,000 pupils, would be getting about 3 million quid. Whereas the private school I was working at had less students than that and was getting more money than that. Obviously budgets have probably changed since, so I know that school has more students now than it did back then. So yeah, same amount of teachers, more students. It's one of the reasons I didn't want to go backwards, because I knew that added on to all my other workload would have been, physically disinfecting every workspace between class, because they basically told us that was going to happen. I didn't have enough time to kind of tidy up between classes as it was. Just cleaning up tools. And making it safe. So say we'd had year 13s in one class, and then you got the year 7s in the next class. You got to put quite a lot of stuff away. And there wasn't any extra time, there wasn't any extra money. In fact, when COVID hit, they effectively gave us a pay cut. I got a 1 penny pay rise. Because they claimed that they didn't know where the money was going to come from to pay us. So not only did they furlough us, but they furloughed us on appalling wages. And yeah, I was just frustrated. And to put in perspective what sort of money I earned there, I earned per hour I was there was minimum wage plus 20p. Basically, when COVID happened, they basically decided to save as much money as they could. So a lot of the teaching staff didn't get furloughed because they were still required to teach. Fair enough. as minimum, as teaching staff's wages were decided every September. The support staffs were decided every financial year. Whereas they usually raise my wage with they basically sent out an email to us saying, nope. Well, not even an email, it was a letter which came saying we're not, and I was one of the lucky ones, because things like the security guard and stuff, they weren't furloughed, they were fired. A lot of the catering staff. But they were on a more flexible contract that the school could get out of, you see, so. I just heard of the tram. Not that close to the tram. But yeah, they basically fired all them, so then and then tried to rehire them again at lower wages than they were paid before, which is just disgusting. I guess the moral of the story is they're getting paid more than me. But yeah, so the job basically was becoming more stressful. More things I had to do. With inflation, much worse paid. But you always hear about people talking about private schools that, amazing places. I always said you could write a book after working in one for a year. They are. And I can't speak for every private school. But ours wasn't the worst in this area of the country, never mind. I wasn't have the worst reputation in this area of the country, never mind, the rest of the country. There we go. So, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed my ramblings about working in a private school. Don't do it. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.